Stage 3 of the Tour of the Alps took place entirely on Austrian territory, starting and finishing in Schwaz with 125 kilometres to ride, but in the rain and in just 4 degrees. Tobias Foss turning up as race leader, having a 4-second advantage over his closest challenger. That was Chris Harper, but 13 seconds on most of the rest of the challengers, with plenty of riders still within a minute. So 125 kilometres, 2,200 metres of climbing, but most of that climbing packed into 4 horribly steep hills towards the end of the race. Up and down the valley, wet roads, a real effort to keep warm, and a day that most would remember, not for popular reasons, for quite a while. 2 climbs taken on twice, 4 climbs effectively in the last 36 kilometres. Average gradients of around 10% for each of those final 4 climbs too. A really tough day in prospect. And a tough day was made even tougher for many by the fact that Filippo Ganna wanted to be in the breakaway. He rode away, they tried to mark him but couldn't live with him. Standing at just 58 seconds in the overall general classification, he was a danger, and it looked as though Ineos Grenadiers were in a mightily strong position when he had almost 4 minutes of a gap with 60 k's to go. They already had the race lead, they also had Geraint Thomas up there too, and it forced all the other teams to chase. Foss leading by 4 seconds from Harper, 6 from Chavez, 10 from O'Connor, and then all the rest of the riders I mentioned at 13 seconds. DSM-Firmenich Postenel would ride. EF Education Easy Post. Decathlon Agir Desert as well. Lidl Trek also added a few men into the chase as we approached the climb, and the gap went dramatically down on the first of the 4 climbs. The Veerberg saw Ganna's lead cut to under a minute, and he'd be caught on the second of those climbs, all back together inside 28 k's to go. After Hest Leemreize did his job, Romain Bardet launched the first serious attack. Tobias Foss found himself at the front and found himself trying to defend his own chances. Bardet would eventually be brought back. But the group had been whittled down. The next attack came on the next climb. Giulio Pellizzari, second in the Tour de l'Avenir 12 months before this race. Stage winner there, now a fully fledged pro, just 20 years of age. He went away, as did Juan Pedro Lopez. Lopez having spent 10 days in the Maglia Rosa at the Giro D'Italia, but never having won a pro race. It was hard work on the descents. Wet roads, really wet roads, cold hands, riders struggling to control their bikes, and not too many risks, thankfully, being taken. The gap for the pair at 21 seconds. And then on to the final couple of climbs. Tobias Foss working for his own chances and trying to defend after Geraint Thomas had done a job to bring things closer back. But that job not enough. The gap would go up to almost 40 seconds. 1 more climb to go at this stage. Lopez and Pellizzari looking good. But would there be one more push from those expected to try and take the race? Well, Wout Poels would try, but he wouldn't last too long in front. And by this stage, the gap was over 40 seconds. Still Foss rode. He was defending his jersey beautifully, and Juanpe Lopez saw his chance. 2 k's to go before the final climb crested out. Lopez attacking and leaving behind Pellizzari. We were left briefly wondering if he'd given too much too soon, but soon the gap seemed to stabilise and Lopez was still looking good. 50 seconds back to what remained of the favourites as they came over the top. Only 7 or 8 riders in the main group by this stage. Bardet, Sosa still there, 3 as well from Decathlon. and Lopez was riding away to the biggest moment of his career. Yes, those days in the Maglia Rosa were an adventure, but the expectation since, pressure on him, and finally a first pro win. 5 years after turning pro, Juanpe Lopez a winner. And winning by enough to take the leader's green jersey too. A very honourable second place to Giulio Pellizzari. He's a name to look out for. And Tobias Foss hoovering up the 4 bonus seconds for third place, but in the process losing the lead. Lopez winning by 22 seconds, the rest of the group coming at 38, led by Foss, then Bardet. The two Paris-Peintre, Tiberi, Pauls, O'Connor and Sosa. The day belonged to Juanpe Lopez. Juanpe having his day and putting on the green leader's jersey. Something he'll be happy about, being a Real Betis fan from Andalusia. That's his colour. A 31-second lead for Juanpe Lopez over Tobias Foss, 45 to O'Connor, a group at 48 and completing the top 10, Pellizzari at 57, Paris-Peintre at 119 alongside Ivan Sosa. We're now going to the higher, longer climbs at the Tour of the Alps.